At the story's beginning, teacher Rina is standing on a grilled bridge that connects two campuses. Suddenly, she is pushed to the ground. As Rina falls, she catches a glimpse of a school uniform sleeve belonging to her attacker. With her life flashing before her eyes, Rina reads the bandage on the sleeve. It reads, Class D, congratulations on graduation. She wonders why someone would want to kill her when she has dedicated herself wholly to her students. Rina wishes that she doesn't want to die. In an instant, life flashes in front of her. The next moment, Rina finds herself transported back 1 year earlier. Now, she is standing once again in front of her class of 30 students. Shaking with fear, she reads the blackboard that says April 6, 2023. Now armed with the knowledge that one of them will try to end her life in a year, Rina resolves to uncover the truth behind her premature death and change the fate that awaits her. On the same day, she keeps thinking about the incident and his new life. During her class and staff meetings, her thoughts revolve around how she is seeing the things that happened 1 year ago. This confirms that Rina is now in her past. Rina meets with one of her student, Yuguri Kanao, outside of his office. She tells the student she can come anytime to discuss his problems. Rina makes a shocking discovery when she reaches the home and sees her husband. She remembers her husband divorcing him, but he is still here. This is because Rina is now in her past. To avoid the murderous incident that will happen to him in the future, she tries to become a good teacher for her students and offers her help. However, the students mock Rina for this behavior and even exploit her. For example, Kochiya wants her to mark all her absentees as present. Similarly, Yosuke Yuryu asks for a 500,000 yen load because he can't afford school fees. However, he spends all this money on drinking and karaoke with his friends. All these incidents make Rina sad, and she thinks she should give up on her thoughts of making the students happy. However, if she doesn't help her students, one of them will try to kill her in the future. Now, she is determined to help her students. Therefore, Rina calls Yuguri Kanao in the chemistry prep room and asks if she has problems with the students. Although Yuguri tries to deny it, Rina confronts her. She knows that Yuguri will stop attending school on May 23, 2023. She will be dead on that day. Still, Yuguri keeps on denying all these things. In the next scene, Yuguri Kanao goes to the class. All the students are there, and they assume that Kanao has complained about their bad behavior to the teacher in the chemistry room. Therefore, they sentenced her restrictions on 3 subjects that she won't read and will fail. However, Rina was too cunning for the students. She has hidden a recorder in Yuguri's bag and installed 8 cameras in the classroom. Therefore, she caught the cruelty of the students. With the help of all the evidence, she makes the students to confess. However, Rina doesn't punish her students. Instead, she is determined to teach them moral ethics. On being asked by Rina, Yuguri shares her story of how her modeling hobby had made her a practice board of laughing for the students. Moreover, she also tells how badly the students have hurt her. On listening to her story in front of all the students, Rina comforts Yuguri and promises her to give whatever she wishes for. After this, Rina goes to her home. She remembers that this is the day when her husband has divorced him in the past. As soon as Rina enters the home, he asks her to sit as he wants to talk about something important. He mentions this married life is out of his understanding. He can't find any comfort in it. Therefore, he thinks of getting a divorce. However, this step is too big to be taken. Instead of divorcing, the couple decides to live together for 3 months. After that, she goes with her friend to a bowling club to forget the grief of her husband. On her way home, 2 robbers try to snatch Rina's bag. However, she doesn't let them do that. She recognizes them as their students, and they run away after listening to this. Rina knows the thieves are his students because of their amateur movements and the school shoes. In fear of murder by one of her students, she goes home and spots the students who might have snatched her bag. She finalizes the names of 2 students. On the next day, Rina greets Yuguri Kanao warmly. The latter thanked Rina for taking a stand for her that day. On the other hand, the fishy students are now making an upfront group against the teacher. They want to take down all the evidence that the teacher had. In the next scene, Yosuke has joined another part-time job. His family conditions are really suffering, as all of their money is grasped by his mom, and she doesn't pay or feed them well. They are also in debt due to their mother's activities. When Yosuke tells her mom he has used money for admission, she treats him badly. She labels him selfish and doesn't care for his brothers. This hurts Yosuke because he isn't praised despite doing so much. In the daily meeting with Rina, Yuguri shows her concerns about Yosuke. She thinks he might be in trouble, as he checks the mirror the way Yuguri used to conceal any wounds before going home. Now, Rina decides to help him, and goes to his house. At their home, she discovers there are plenty of makeup things and female dresses. She assumes all of these things belong to Yosuke's mom, and she spends all of their blessings on them. The next day, Rina sits with Yosuke and confronts him about his problems. Angry and reluctant, he shows that there are no difficulties, but Rina tells him that she has visited his home and knows the root cause of the problem in his life. But Yosuke is stubborn, and he doesn't like this behavior from his teacher. He runs away from the scene and stops at the shop where he has recently started his second part-time job. The shop owner is very kind as she shuts the business just to hear the problem of his employee, Yosuke. She listens to his story and pays some money as an advance salary. Yosuke returns home with money, intending to repay the loan sharks threatening his family. He hopes that by doing this, his family can continue living in their home. Therefore, he can remain in his current school. However, his mother has other plans. She intends to use the money for her own purposes, to buy things for herself and the house. Just then, the doorbell rings. It's Yosuke's homeschool teacher. She converses with Yosuke's mom, praising Yosuke's hard work. Moreover, she suggests that the money would be better spent on the children than on unnecessary items. In the midst of this, Kosaka arrives. He is the Yosuke's best friend. He generously offers some of his pocket money to Mrs. Yuryu, urging her to allow Yosuke to complete his graduation with them. He then speaks to Yosuke, expressing his admiration for their teacher's kindness. He reveals that the teacher had approached him, expressing concern for Yosuke and his family's situation. This makes Mrs. Yuryu emotional, and she agrees that Yosuke can complete his graduation at this school. She also praises that his friends are good and take pride in helping others. After that, Miss Rina asks Yusuke to speak up and says everything he has already told him. This makes Yusuke emotional, and expresses how his mom has made his life miserable after her divorce. He also mentions that his mother only spends his hard-earned income and doesn't care for him or the children. The following day, Yusuke and Kosaka meet Yuguri. They apologize and ask her to be their friend, marking the start of a new friendship. Later that night, Rina opens up to her husband. She shares her feelings and reveals she doesn't want to divorce him. The next day starts on June 3, 2023. A new student is walking towards Horai High School. He seems very charming and happy. Suddenly, the focus shifts to a blackboard with a chilling message, "Kill Rina." This sends shockwaves through the school, with staff members discussing the disturbing message. During lunch, Yuguri brings up the unsettling incident to Rina. However, Rina chooses to ignore it. The day takes a softer turn when Yuguri presents Rina with handmade cloth bags she crafted at home. In the afternoon, Sagara enters the class with his group. After bullying a few students, they sit on their chairs. Yusoku and Kosaka have separated from the bully group. They even showed intentions of fighting with them. However, no real fight has taken place. Then, Sagara asked the class about the morning incident and who wrote those horror expressions on the board, but no one speaks up. Sagara mentions that whoever did that was very clever as he turned off the security camera. However, Rina confronts two engineering students, Mayamura and Higurashi, suspecting them of writing the death threats. However, they remain silent and offer no response. In the class, the students are starting to rebel, and the tension is palpable. At the store where Yusoku works, news of Rina's death threat spreads. Satome, the manager, and the students express their concern and desire to support their teacher. In a surprising turn of events, Rina brings Mayamura and Higurashi into a classroom for a private conversation. She expresses her suspicion about their involvement in the death threat, given their intelligence. After some probing, the students finally break their silence. Mayamura confesses they wrote the note out of frustration with Rina's overbearing behavior. They explain that her excessive protectiveness has led to other student groups targeting them. Rina responds with a prediction. She tells them that their work is set to win second place in an international competition on December 11, 2023. However, she warns that this achievement will be undermined by someone just 4 days later. She also addresses their self-esteem issues, encouraging them to stand up for themselves. She believes that by asserting themselves, they can bring about the change they desire. At home, Rina experiences a very positive feeling from her husband. He asks her to share anything with him because it makes him happy to listen to her. The following day, a significant development takes place. Two students from Rina's class hand a petition to teacher Hayashi. It's a request signed by all the students for a change in their homeroom teacher. The vice principal reveals that the petition carries the signatures of the class's most capable students, leaving them with no choice but to replace the teacher. Rina is asked to stay at home until further notice. With that, she departs with a wave of relief in the classroom. However, Yuguri isn't celebrating. She abruptly leaves her seat and rushes after Rina. Yuguri wants to know if Rina is quitting. Rina explains that she's leaving because her presence is making students uncomfortable. She entrusts Yuguri with the responsibility of looking after things in her absence. After school, Mayamura and Higurashi are going back to their home. On their way, Mayamura asks why we are humiliated so badly. Higurashi says that this is because it is a school. After graduation, we won't face it at all. Meanwhile, Rina approaches them and tells them she wants to talk with them. She asks them to take a stand for themselves, and she will be their accomplice. Yuguri confronts Akutsu and Kochiya, the top students who initiated the petition against Rina, in the library. She questions whether they acted on behalf of Sagura's group. Yugiri empathizes with their discomfort, having felt the same way before. She encourages them to stand up for themselves and offers her friendship. Meanwhile, Sagura and Sakatago visited the club room previously used by Mayamura and Higurashi for research. They find the room empty. When Mayamura and Higurashi arrive, they clearly have no interest in befriending Sagura and Sakatago. Despite threats from Saga, they say that they won't change their stance. In a twist, two girls from Sagura's group approach Akutsu and Kochiya, asking them to fill out a school-leaving form to pressure Rina further. However, they refuse, revealing they've already withdrawn the petition. The next class sees Rina back at the helm, teaching as if nothing happened. In the chemistry prep room, Rina, Yugiri, Akutsu, and Kochiya are joined by Hashizaki, who commends Rina for her positive influence on the students. He praises the teacher for her good behavior and how she's changing the lives of her students. Back at home, Rina's husband opens up about his thoughts on divorce, attributing their issues to the strain of their workloads. He apologizes to Rina and promises not to leave her. Rina then drops a bombshell, revealing she's living her second life. Rina and her husband are sitting around a table. Rina reveals that she's living her second life, a revelation she fears might make Rin think she's lost her mind. However, Rin accepts her words without hesitation. Rina asks, "Don't you think she is crazy?" However, her husband says that he has already seen the photos of her students with future dates on them. Therefore, the concept of the future isn't entirely foreign to him. Rin encourages Rina to share her entire story, promising to listen attentively. Rina opens up about her impending death in the future at the hands of one of her students. She expresses her desire to treat her students better, hoping to change this grim outcome. In the midst of their conversation, there comes Misato Inami. She is a student of Rina, grade 3D. She's a vibrant girl who doesn't find any chill in her home life. Misato finds solace in photographing the moon and maintains a positive outlook despite her circumstances. Interestingly, she's part of the rebellious group that supports Sagura's misdeeds. Rand is very moved by his wife's story. Therefore, he pledges his support towards her. As her husband, he vows to stand by her side in the face of the challenges that lie ahead. The next day is July 6th. 2023. Akutsu and Kochiya have become good friends with Yugiri. They even decide to buy books together. On the other hand, the Sagura group is sad as all their plans have been chopped up. They are mourning their fate when someone announces the speaker. The voice says Misato Inami is being called in the office. It is Miss Rina who has called her. Straight to the point, Rina asks Misato if a person named Shugo Hamaka has asked her on a date. Rina tells her to cut ties with that person. Otherwise, she'll stab him with a hand knife on August 31st, 2023. Everything is being recorded on Misato's mobile phone without Rina knowing it. The scene shifts to a cafe where Misato is sitting alone, replaying a recorded note of Rina's words. The things Rina said are making her rethink her decisions and relationships. Just then, Suera joins her. He is a school friend of her. They engage in a casual conversation about their lifestyles and enjoy each other's company. Later in the evening, Rina discusses Misato's situation with her husband. She speculates about Misato's negative influences and future actions. She will stab her boyfriend, which might stem from her feeling neglected by her mother. This theory is seemingly confirmed in the next scene. Misato is at home, where her mother is giving attention to her elder sister. This leaves Misato feeling overlooked and hurt. On the other hand, Yugiri goes to the market for book shopping with her friends, where they meet Misato's potential boyfriend in Suera. They go on grabbing a toast together. Meanwhile, Misato is also at a restaurant with her school friends. They ask her why she is so silent. Misato tells her entire talk with the teacher earlier in the day. However, she didn't tell everything as she didn't want to sound silly. After listening to his emotional story, her friends joke and make fun of her, hurting her. In a surprising turn of events, Yugamori and her friends visit the restaurant where Yosuke works. During their meal, Rina arrives. However, her focus is on Shugo Hamaka, Misato Inami's potential boyfriend. Rina urges Shugo to end his relationship with Misato, a suggestion that angers him. However, a message from Misato interrupts their conversation. After that, Shugo rushes off to meet her. Rina then turns her attention to Suera. She implores him to convince his friend to break ties with Misato, suspecting that he's only interested in her for her money. Rina even reveals that Shugo will be attacked after his hospital discharge on September 4th. After some hesitation, Suera agrees to intervene. Unknown to them, their entire conversation is being recorded on camera. The next day, Rina again meets with Misato in the chemistry prep room. She gives her the recordings that contain Shugo Hamaka's voice. After listening to Shugo's dreadful confessions, Misato hurts and leaves the room crying. At her coffee shop, she gets a message from Suera. He wants to meet her in the park. He also tries to understand the true nature of his friend, and confesses his love for her. This calendar marks August, which is the summer holiday month for students. After the summer break, Hashizaki shows the recorded footage of his camera to Yugamori and her friends. He guesses that the teacher is having a one-year leap. In other words, she is living in the same year twice. The new day starts on September 1st. It is the time when college exams start. These exams will last for 1 month. Teacher Rina announced that there would be a cultural festival after the exams. Class 3D is arranging a coffee shop. Moreover, they'll also handle the gymnasium hall. She puts Nika Mizuna in charge of the gymnasium because of musical activities. Although Nika is not happy, she has to take this responsibility. As soon as she leaves the class, she finds Miss Rina outside. It seems that she is already waiting for Nika. Rina tries talking to her and tells her that this event will be cancelled due to an unknown issue after 28 days. Therefore, Miko has to do something to avoid that happening. In the chemistry prep room, Hashizaki meets with Miss Rina. First, he talks about cultural festivals. After that, he confronts her about her second life and tells her he has her conversation on his laptop. However, she denies this fact. Meanwhile, one of the staff members comes. He urges Rina to meet in the staff room. In the staff hall, the teachers are gathered on a piece of newspaper. The news is about Nika Mizuna, who has done something bad during her last musical event. Her fans are angry and warn her to attack the school if Nika attends the function. The vice principal suggests we shouldn't let Nika attend the cultural festival. However, Rina doesn't agree with that. She takes responsibility for herself and assures that everything will be smooth. Seeing this new article, Nika becomes sad. She comes to Rina. She tells her teacher that she doesn't want to attend a cultural festival because of this. Meanwhile, Satome comes. She is the store manager where Yosuke works. She has accessories like hand towels that were ordered for the festival. Now, Satome and Rina are helping Nika to make an easy decision. Rina ensures that she'll do whatever she can to ensure her last festival goes smoothly and well. On the other hand, Sagura is feeling very anxious. He doesn't want this festival to happen. Suddenly, he takes his phone out and calls someone. He gives instructions on the phone, like moving up. 9 days before the event, preparations are going well. In the night, a group of gangster-type boys are spotted outside the school. They break into the school and destroy everything that students have made. This makes Nika sad, as she takes all the blame on her. However, Rina encourages her and uplifts her to fight for her rights. In the class, Nika stands up and offers a public apology. After that, she explained that she also liked this festival. Many people think she's not interested in making their cultural event miserable. However, this is not true. Further, Nika says she has a goal to become the best artist in the world. With Rina's help, Nika explains that this incident is not her fault, and she's ready to make it all right again. After a bit of explanation, everyone is happy and ready to make this festival their memorable one. Despite some disturbance from Sagura's group, the event went pretty well. Everyone participates as per their assigned role. Although there was a bit of worry as nobody was there to play piano, the best friend handled this task beautifully. Nika gets a chance to open up and speak about her life. She tells how everyone thinks she is weird and crazy, but she has a life to live and will achieve its goals at any cost. She also thanks Rina, who encouraged her to make this event memorable. Ultimately, she also sings her own song and makes everyone emotional. In the end, Rina spots Shugo Hamaka in the midst of the previous incident. With the help of surveillance cameras in the class, she gets to know the real culprit behind this bad occurrence. On the other side, she also learns that Yuguri is also living a second life like her. As soon as the cultural festival ends, Yuguri sits with Kochiya. During talks, Kochiya expresses her feelings for Yuguri. This disturbs both of them. However, Kochiya runs from the scene. After that, the story of Yuguri replays. The scene shows how she spent her life in the past. In her previous life, she died on the bridge. However, she woke up in her room. It was the first day of her senior high school. She didn't want to go to school as it annoyed and killed her. However, Yuguri had to go to school. She tried remembering all the old events. However, she couldn't remember the teacher Rina's behavior. When Rina confirmed the date of her school leaving, Yuguri became certain that she was also living her second life. Her new life was also miserable like the old one. She wanted to change the course of her death. However, Rina interfered in her life and changed it for good. It is October 2nd. The second semester is going at a steady pace after the cultural event. During the lunch break in the chemistry prep room, Rina confesses and confronts Yuguri about their second life. After some hesitation, Yuguri accepts that she is also living her second life. She also confesses that she already knows about the thing, like Rina. After that, Rina says that she is changing classes because she was killed by one of her students in the past. Yuguri adds that they are given a second life but won't be a third one. Therefore, they should do their best to get the most out of their current life. In the night at home, Rina's friends celebrate his birthday and share their aspirations. Meanwhile, Rina only wishes to see his friends again next year. It's October 3rd. Kochiya is not at class today. Suddenly, a duel emerges between Sakota and a fellow. Luckily, it doesn't escalate. In the meantime, Sagura leaves her chair. and he asks Yuguri to have a private talk. He apologizes to Yuguri and says he wants normal things back in the class. However, Yuguri says she won't accept her apology for his actions and leaves. In the staff room, Kochiya requests to take her days off for an uncertain time. Hearing this, Rina decides to attend Kochiya personally. She inquires about her health because she doesn't seem ill. Moreover, she will attend her favorite law school next year in February. Further, Yuguri also misses her in class. After hearing all this from her teacher, Kochiya explains why she did not attend school. However, she thought Yuguri might not like her. Therefore, she is not coming to school these days. Saying all this saddens Kochiya. She starts crying. However, Rina consolidates and encourages her. She also says that expressing one's feelings takes time and boldness. Listening to this, Kochiya says she wants to know Yuguri's feelings about me, positive or negative. The next day, Rina calls Yuguri and says she wants to meet her. Kochiya is already present in the chemistry prep room. Rina leaves both of them alone. After that, Kochiya apologizes for her inconvenient behavior. However, Yuga Morris asks her not to be inconvenienced as she has already expressed her feelings in the past life. In the previous life, she has rejected her feelings. However, she respects her feelings this time. Moreover, she thanks Kochiya for being with her all the time. All these talks make both of them happy. After the meeting, Yuguri meets with Rina and offers her a surprise bag with a hand-drawn picture of Yuguri and Rina. There's also a memory card in the bag. It has the recording of Yuguri. In the video, she says that tomorrow is the day when she will end her life in the past. Now, she doesn't feel like living it again. Therefore, she recorded this video so Rina could remember Yuguri forever. While the video is playing, Rina leaves the room searching for Yuguri. On the other hand, Yuguri finds a piece of paper in her cupboard. It says to meet in the corridor after school. She goes to the marked location. While Rina is searching for Yuguri in the school, she is at the steel bridge. She fights with an unknown person at the bridge, and during that fight, she got pushed towards the ground and died. As soon as Rina reaches the spot, she finds the dead body of Yuguri. Filled with sadness, she cries and mourns. She wishes that this life could start again. But as Yuguri mentioned, there won't be any third chance. It has been 3 days since the death of Yuguri. Her death has become a mystery for everyone. The media is asking questions and blaming the school for the death of Yuguri. The school has been closed now. The school is closed on the morning of October 7th. There is a thrill in the staff room as they are continuously receiving calls asking about the cause of Yuguri's death. However, they have no clue. Rina is in her home. She is a picture of sadness and grief as Yuguri's death has affected her. She was not only her student but also her best friend. Suddenly, someone knocks at her door, and her husband comes with a bowl of soup. However, she has no intention of eating it. Her husband reminds her about the funeral of Yuguri, which is going to happen tonight. At the funeral post, she sees a placard that mentions the name of Yuguri. Rina remembers that this is the same scenario that she has already seen. Rina's mother sees her at the doorstep and calls her into the house. She greets and thanks Rina, who has always been there for Yuguri. Her mother also raises a concern as to why Yuguri died in a restricted area. However, no one has any answer to this question yet. After returning home, she asked her husband the same question. It is October 10th. The police have declared the death of Yuguri as an accident of suicide. Rina meets the mother of Yuguri again, vows to find the murderer. After that, she goes to the faculty room. Here, all the teachers are waiting for her. Rina shows them the video clips she recorded at the start of this year. These are the same clips where her class fellows have sentenced Yuguri restrictions in 3 subjects. After showing the clip, Rina encourages staff not to believe that the death of Yuguri is an accident. In the class, Rina urges everyone not to forget the death of Yuguri. She says that they have installed the cameras in the classroom. Moreover, Rina wants everyone to take a stand on this cause and let her know who is standing with her in this tough situation. In this emotional moment, many students stand up. They are Yuguri's friends, and they also want to know the cause of Yuguri. However, some students also mention that they don't want to know the cause. They say they won't be part of this if such an investigation hurts their opportunities. Hence, teacher Rina puts this decision of investigation on the school management and suspends the class. However, Kochiya runs after the teacher. She assures her full support. What shocks Rina when Kochiya also inquires about her past life. She asks if this has already happened in your previous life. They both decide to live a life that Yugimoy has always asked for. Everyone is confused about the matter. Should they declare it an accident or continue the investigation? The principal is in favor of declaring it an accident. However, Rina wants an investigation of the matter. The discussion is also going on in the class. Some students want an investigation. However, other students want to end it now. Meanwhile, all the staff members enter the class 3D. They will announce their decision as they have made up their mind. In the class, the vice declares that only the adults will take forward this matter. There won't be any involvement from the children's side. The media representatives are present in the meeting room. They want a final conclusion from the school on this matter. the vice principal is here to announce the final answer from the side of the school. In the press, the vice principal says that they have been told that this was an accident. However, the school thinks that this is a premature conclusion. They want to face the reason behind the death of Yugiri. Moreover, he mentions that nobody should make speculations about the conclusion as it may harm the student's future. If someone has to say anything, he can come and talk to him personally. He takes the responsibility of handling the school from now on. In the night, Rina goes to her home. As soon as she enters, she starts crying while hugging her husband. She says that it can't be an accident as Yugiri was living her life to the fullest. She wants to know the reason. On the other hand, Hashizaki comes to Kochiya and shows him the footage. The video clip has a boy, who is the same who attended them in a pub before the festival. Rina meets with the mother of Yugiri and ensures her full support from the side of the school. Her mother gets emotional, shares her past with Rina, and tells her how she loves her. The mother also mentions that she has been living her life with her husband in a far area before coming to this place. Next, she asks for a favor from Rina. She says that it doesn't matter who killed Yugiri. She wants to know why Yugiri went to that place at first, and what she was doing in that abandoned area. The next day, everyone is supporting Rina. They also want to know the cause of death. When the class begins, Sagara and Sakota enter the room. Everyone is staring at them. Meanwhile, Kochiya stands up, and she asks Sagara whether he is Shugo Hamaka's friend. She is asking this because Hamaka has been spotted at the place the day Yugiri died. After that, she shows him the CCTV footage that Hashizaki had found the previous night. In the meantime, Rina has also seen that footage. Everyone in class doubts Sagara as he is one of Shugo's best friends. Moreover, Shugo spends most of his time at Sagara's house. Things escalate, and one student grabs Sagara's collar. However, Rina enters the scene and she asks everyone to calm down. But Kochiya believes that he is much closer to the killer, and they want to confirm that with Sagara. And when she asks Sagara to be the culprit behind the death of Yugiri, he accepts it. Everyone is puzzled and disturbed. When the class wants a further explanation, Sagara says that he can't explain it, and leaves the classroom. Sagara leaves the class, and Rina follows him. She urges him to speak up if he has something on his mind, as this will help to solve this case better. However, Sagara is very annoyed due to the incident. He doesn't want to speak about this matter with anyone. On the other hand, Misato Inami calls Shugo. As soon as he picks up the call, she confronts him about why he was at the school the day Yugiri died. She also asks about his relationship with Sagara. To the second question, he replied that Sagara is one of his most valued customers. He also mentions that Sagara has nothing to do with the death of Yugiri. Moreover, he also says that he attacked the class the day before on behalf of Sagara. This shocked everyone. At the restaurant where Yosuke is doing his job, everyone is worried. He thinks Sagara is the main culprit because he also had bad relations with Yugiri. At night, Rina goes to the Sagara's home to listen to him. At first, he misbehaves with her. She mentions how Sagara has gone through the pain of the death of her mom. Therefore, she is here to help him. However, listening to all this makes Sagara angrier and starts shouting at Rina, but she tries to console him. After some time, Sagara speaks up. He tells what others think of him and what he doesn't like to bully others. However, he has been made by people like this. At this point, Rina confronts him and asks why, despite hurting others, he didn't stop. Why does he keep pretending with a smile on his face that all this doesn't matter? After listening to this, Sagara becomes annoyed. He gives a shut-up call to Rina. She asks him if Sagara is really interested in changing himself. He should show up tomorrow to embrace his weaknesses. The next day, Sagara comes to the class late. He says that Yugiri always wanted to change the class's environment. Therefore, she might have gone to that place to change the environment. Moreover, he says that he is not behind her death. When confronted about the cultural festival event, he accepts that it was because of him. He did all that because he was jealous of the class. Sagara even mentions that he asked Yugiri to forgive him because he wanted to change the atmosphere, but she refused to forgive him. After that, he begs a public apology from the entire class. Meanwhile, Sakota also bends and asks for forgiveness as he is equally responsible for all of this. One by one, every friend of Sagara apologized to the class. This really was an emotional moment. After that, Sagara and Rina go to Yugiri's home. Here, Sagara extends his apology to Yugiri's mother. In the end, Sakota and other fellows catch a person and raid Shugo's house to confront him. Sakota and his friends are standing in Shugo's room. They have tracked the whereabouts of the Shugo and want to confront him. Being angry, Sakota only wants to know the reason behind the murder of Yugiri. Shugo says that he had done that troublesome act before the cultural event. However, he wasn't the reason of Yugiri's death. He transfers the blame to Nishino. She is also one of their class fellow, who has teased Yugiri in the past. Shugo also mentions that he was at the school just to meet Nishino. He was not behind the death of Yugiri at all. This news has been transferred to the teacher Rina. She also discusses the entire case with her husband, and shows the fear that Yugiri went to that place because she wanted to protect something. However, Rin says that she went because she was too strong to hold herself due to fear. It is October 16th. Yugiri's mother also comes to the school. She wants to visit the place where the incident happened and wants to face her fear. After that, Rina goes to the class. However, she notices that Nishino, Nobe, and Nakazono are absent. Upon asking, the students say they are absent today, but Rina was worried about them and wants to find them before something bad happens. Therefore, she runs from the class in search of them. In the meantime, she calls the vice principal to take care of the class. Everyone in the class is determined to find all the absentees. Therefore, they will go out and search for them. For this, they will make a group chat and discuss every report there. On the other hand, Keo Katsumi spots some girls wearing the school uniform in the bowling club. Immediately, she calls Rina. All three girls are now cursing their luck. They regret their decision of what they had done in the past. Therefore, they decide to put an end to all of this. They climb a building and decide to commit the unthinkable. However, a few class girls reach the destination just in time. They beg them to stop climbing down. They convince them not to jump and save them. Meanwhile, more students reach there. Kochiya asks them to stop it and come down. When everyone reaches the class, Rina advises them not to do that again in life. After that, she urges students to discuss with them on their behalf. Moreover, she won't interfere and let the students do whatever they want to. One of the students asked them if they were really behind the death of Yugiri. Listening to this question, Nishino starts speaking. She said that she did all of this with Shugo's help. The class environment was changing, and she couldn't bear that. Shugo said he had placed a camera in the chemistry prep room and recorded the conversation between Yugiri and Kochiya. Then, he urged me to use this thing to take my revenge on Yugiri. She called Yugiri to that place, and she came there alone. Karachi adds that they placed the paper in Yugiri's banker. She was a kind-hearted girl who wanted to bring positive change to us. Nishino continues that she showed Yugiri the disc with all the secret conversations. However, Yugiri said that she didn't care about the secret. When Yugiri learned that this secret may affect Kochiya's life, she became disturbed. After that, Yugiri tried to snatch that recording. In that fight, she tripped and fell from the bridge. Everyone in the class is sad now after listening to this. After that, Rina stands up and says she will never forgive Nishino and her friends. She also encourages others not to forgive them. During all this conversation, the mother of Yugiri opens the door and enters the class. She says that she has already listened to what has been said here. Immediately, all three of the girls bow down and ask for forgiveness. The mother mentions that you should not take your life like you were going to. She adds that she can't forgive or forget you for what you have done. However, she also doesn't want you to lose your lives like Yugiri did. Ultimately, she says that they just don't forget Yugiri in their lives. Meanwhile, Rina takes them to the police to explain the situation. After some time, things start becoming normal. Everything is reshaping. However, the seats of the three girls and Yugiri are empty. Moreover, one big danger is still there. Rina still doesn't know the person behind her murder. Finally, the death of Yugiri has become a memory for the students. However, students put a flower on her desk. They don't want to forget their beautiful class fellow. It is November 18th. The three girls are now allowed to attend the class after some interrogation. After a final decision on November 20th, the family court drops all the charges from the girls and declares them innocent. The semester is now coming to an end. Students are now deciding their future. They come to Yugiri's desk and show her their future plans. Time is passing at a steady pace. Now, 2 days are left in the final graduation ceremony. Rina is afraid about the future. However, her husband said that it won't happen. One day before the final ceremony, teachers have a final meeting to decide about tomorrow's day. In the evening, Rina goes to the restaurant to spend some precious moments with her friends and celebrate her ceremony. After that, she spends some time with her husband in the house. After some talks, Rina goes to sleep. It is March 24th. The graduation ceremony day has arrived. Rina wakes up in the morning and greets her husband. He prepares breakfast for them. While having breakfast, her husband shares his future plans, as they have been married for 5 years. He wants to go somewhere to spend time together. However, Rina is thinking of something else. After seeing her sad face, Rin says, "Don't look so miserable while listening to my future talks. You'll live." Moreover, he mentions that you will always be with me in the future. Rina speaks about what she wants to face today. She also tells her husband that they have been divorced in their previous life. Rin mentions that they always stay like this forever. After that, Rina expresses her love for her husband. Rina is now in the class. She congratulates all of the students for their success and graduation. After that, she suspends the class and goes to the same place where she died previously. Suddenly, someone comes and tries to push Rina. However, she catches him and stops him. It is Hashizaki who is trying to kill her. Rina says that she is living her second life, and in her first life, she has died in this way. Hashizaki says that he can still push you down. However, Rina shows him the flower beds Yugiri installed on both sides of the bridge to protect her in the future. On that, Hashizaki asks why you didn't stop me at the start of the semester. Rina replies that she didn't see your face clearly in the past. However, your emotionless and mysterious nature has made me doubt you. Throughout the class, I noticed you are a serious person who doesn't take the lives of others seriously. Rina adds that after killing me, you will also kill yourself. Therefore, she is here only to see you and tell you that don't kill yourself. Hashizaki asks why you think I should live when I don't wish for life or death. Rina says that Yugiri has always been like this. After that, she changed herself for the better. Then, Hashizaki shares his story of being a mysterious person in his elementary school life. Everyone looked at me like I was a dangerous person. He adds that his life has been like a black and white TV as it has no colors and fun. However, this past year has really changed me. It brings color to my life. He asks if it was you who changed it. Then, Hashizaki makes a bold claim. He is the one who told Shugo about Nishino because he wanted to bring some change in his life. However, this incident led to the death of Yugiri, and he didn't want that. Therefore, he found the video of Shugo and gave it to the class. He says that he always wanted to change but didn't know for whom he should change. In the end, he asks Rina a weird question: will she die with him? However, Rina denies this. She says that she'll do everything to make the lives of his students better, but she can't end it in this way. He encourages Hashizaki to believe in himself and that he can achieve great things. However, he doesn't understand his teacher's talk and jumps over the railing. Rina moves forward and grabs his arm. She doesn't want her to die. In the meantime, students see the scene and rush under the bridge. Rina's grip starts losing on Hashizaki's hand. While he is smiling, Rin appears on the scene. He grabs Hashizaki's arm and pulls him. In this way, they save Hashizaki's life. In the meantime, all the students reach the bridge. Sagara says that he already knows that you are going to do something. Therefore, he gathers students and reaches here. While the students leave the scene, Rina is also coming behind them. At that moment, a thump is heard, and Shugo stabs Rina with a knife. In a fading scene, Rina's voice erupts, and she closes her eyes. The crowd rushes towards the killer and grabs him. An ambulance is called, and Rina is rushed to the hospital. After intensive care, Rina opened her eyes. Everyone rushed towards him and became happy after seeing her. Rina congratulates everyone on their graduation. The curtain drops, while everyone is smiling.